Welcome back, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest tonight is the Emmy-winning journalist who hosts the Rachel Maddow Show. Please welcome back to The Late Show, Rachel Maddow. Buddy. The people, they love them some Rachel Maddow.
I would like to spend more time here.
Please do. I'll show you the minute by minute.
This is fantastic.
It is fantastic. You know I'm a fan. I've loved you ever since Air America.
Oh, you were the one.
Oh, yeah, you and Al and Mark and Sam Cedar. It was great.
Yeah.
But we're in a whole different world now from back in those days. I love having you on here. I don't know where to start. I mean, we could talk about the last 4 months for 4 months.
Yeah.
It's been some of the craziest, most dramatic, up and downing, like emotionally, politically, economically, crazy things have happened. Let's just start with 2 assassination attempts in the last 9 weeks.
Oh my God.
Let's just start there.
It's so terrible.
So you have to go in. I can talk about it or not talk about it. I can touch upon it because I'm just a shadow of the news. We don't actually break stories here. Y'all have to talk about it in depth and investigate this. What do you make of our present moment? Is there historical perspective here you can give us?
I mean, there have been assassination attempts against other presidents. Gerald Ford in 1975 had 2 in, I think, the space of 19 days. I mean, so we've had, yes, you can find other analogies to this period in American history, but each one of these things is so unique, and any one of them is so terrible, and it just says something really bad about where we are as a country. It's profoundly dangerous. It benefits no one. I'm really worried about the Secret Service and the burden that they have and them needing to be very, very good at their jobs.
They're really overstretched right now.
Yeah, and we're in a bad place in American politics where people are joking about violence, right? The Speaker of the House had her home broken into by a man wielding a hammer who then used that hammer to fracture the skull of her husband. And that's a laugh line in the political campaign right now. That is something that people have been, that Trump has been joking about. And that is just, it's just incredibly toxic. And so I just feel like, I know this doesn't even need to be said, but violence is not politics. Once you're talking about committing violence, you are no longer talking about politics, you are committing a crime, and that's all that it is. And anybody who jokes about or minimizes or talks about the inevitability of violence attached to our political system is full of it. It's anti-American, it has to stop, and it's super dangerous for everybody involved.
Well, that is one thing.
Yeah.
That is one thing to be anxious about. But you recently had an op-ed in the New York Times, and I particularly liked what the title of it was. It says, Rachel Maddow, what worries me most about election night, and thank you for another thing to worry about.
Yeah.
My anxiety levels were running low. Okay, I'll bite. Add to my nightmares. What are you worried about, Rachel?
So I feel like my stock in trade, like every time I come to talk to you, it's always, oh, people say we're in an unprecedented moment, but here's, Stephen, here's where it happened in the 1840s. Like, I feel like I'm always telling people these things happened before.
Yes.
This one thing that's happening in this election cycle really has never happened before, and that's bad. And it's that since 2020, Republican election officials in lots of states have started to say that they will not certify the election results. And
under any circumstances, or just if it doesn't go their way?
Well, they've been trying it out in all sorts of random elections. There was one Republican election official in the Southwest who actually said that she wouldn't certify her own election, just on the principle of the thing that elections are bad, I guess.
It helps call into question the validity of the election, and therefore that sort of metastasizes into a distrust so that later it's easier to call into question elections.
Yeah. If you start saying that there's something fundamentally wrong with elections in general, that elections are never run properly, then you've conditioned people to expect that elections won't be run properly, and importantly, that there won't be a clear result. And that is what's going to happen on election night. In multiple swing states, in Republican-controlled jurisdictions all over the country, you are randomly going to have people saying, oh, there's no result here. We can't give you the vote tally from our county. And it's going to be bull. There's going to be, those elections are going to be fine. There are going to be normal results. Nothing ever happens that is seriously wrong with our elections, and that will be true this time, but they will say there's something wrong. And that chaos will set the ground for, will lay the groundwork for challenging the election results no matter what they are.
Is that how would you read that? As a sort of a preemptive, prophylactic attempt to undermine confidence in our elections because they don't have confidence that they will win? And this is the game that they have to start playing now because they believe it's the only game they have?
Part of it is, yeah, we want to say that the election isn't right so we can try to claim victory by overthrowing the government like they did on January 6th. But part of it is that he doesn't think that elections are the way that we should make decisions as a country. He doesn't like elections. Even when he wins elections, he doesn't like them because he doesn't think that we should choose our leaders that way. He just thinks he should be in charge without elections. And that is what is, when people talk about democracy being on the ballot, that's really fundamentally what it is.
We have to take a quick break. Right back with more Rachel Maddow, everybody. Stick around.